The next team I have at number 4 is Finland. And I know a lot of people actually aren't that high on Finland, but I'm going to give Finland the benefit of the doubt just because of the roster that they're bringing back. They're a veteran team who is returning. I guess we should, I'm going to start with this guy, Topi Niemela. He is the Leafs prospect, and he's not even their captain. I should also probably talk about Ronnie Rovinen. I'll start with Topi Niemela because, my God, he was defenseman of the tournament last year, smooth skating defenseman. If I didn't mention it enough, Toronto Maple Leafs draft pick, 64th overall in 2020. He is leading all defensemen in tournaments, all defensemen in scoring, I should say, with 24 points in 31 games in the top Finnish league called the Liga with Karpat. He's good at everything. I cannot wait for this guy. I made this reference last time, but Topi Niemela is the cake that your mom is putting in the oven that you can't have yet, even though you want to take a big scoop. You want to pick up a little spoon and you want to dig into the cake batter and just eat it all, but you can't because that's unhealthy. That's Topi Niemela because he's going to be ready pretty soon. And I cannot wait for it. He's a smooth skating defenseman who may not have the size, but this is 2022. You don't need the size in the NHL, although it is a good necessity. Great offensive instincts. He's able to quickly turn pucks in the defensive zone, skate him out, pass him out, and make something from nothing. I should probably also mention another Leaf prospect, Ronnie Rovinen. Mm-hmm. He's got 16 points in 28 games in the Liga, drafted 59th overall in 2020. What a draft by Kyle Dubas, 2020 was. Ronnie Rovinen, I think 5'8". I don't have it in front of him, but he's a little guy at center, and he is the Finnish captain. So, Jared, you want to talk about the Finns at all?
Yeah, for sure. So overall, the main storyline, you did kind of mention it, is they're a very experienced group. They have 10 players from last year's tournament returning. So that's something that I think will definitely benefit their team as they've been here before. They know the whole gist of the tournament. I think that's definitely going to help them. Always, Finland is a very skilled team in this tournament. They're always a team to look out for. So they definitely will be with the top dogs. They're playing with Canada in that Group A. So aside from Canada, they'll kind of be competing for 1 and 2. They don't have too many other teams that they have to worry about. Usually it's other teams that are worrying about Canada and Finland. So they're one of those dominant teams that should eat some of the weaker teams in that division alive. And that definitely is going to benefit them throughout this tournament. There's a lot of guys to keep an eye on in this tournament. You, of course, mentioned the Leafs prospects and Ronnie Rovin, the captain, and Topi Niemela. So just some Leafs prospects to be very excited about. As well, there's a returning player, Casper Simon Tybell. He's an LA Kings prospect. So he's hoping to sort of make some noise as he did last season. Last tournament. He had 7 points in last year's tournament for Finland. So they have a lot of good players. They have some young guys as well. Brad Lambert, for example, who is, I'm just double checking this. Sorry, he's at 2023, or am I thinking of the wrong person?
Brad Lambert? Brad Lambert's 2022. 2022.
Right. Okay, sorry. I don't know why I was getting Bedard and Lambert confused. But whatever, yeah. So Brad Lambert, he's going to be right up there in the conversation with Shane Wright to be a high draft pick in this year's draft. He's so talented, such a good player. And overall, this team just doesn't have a lot of question marks. I think they are pretty solid all throughout. The one thing you can maybe ask about is their goaltending, but as well, their main goalie of Joel Blomqvist. He's currently having a great start in the Liga. He currently has a .964 save percentage in a small sample size, admittedly, but in his only 8 games that he's played, he has 3 shutouts already. So he's doing unbelievable, and he's very much going to be relied on if Finland wants to see any kind of success in this tournament. Other goalie named Levi Merolainen, he's currently on the Kingston Frontenacs, and he is struggling. He currently has an .897 save percentage with over 3 goals against. So maybe their backups have some question marks, but that one goalie, the starter of Joel Blomqvist, he should really be, the way he's playing right now, he very much has expectations to be great. And if he could continue that, I see no reason why this Finnish team shouldn't be able to be successful in this tournament. I like their team. They're very experienced, and I'm kind of excited to see how they do in that Group A against Canada.
Yeah, I like that point that you brought up about them being such an old team, because they are, and they're super experienced, which is a really big thing. But let's not sleep on their draft prospects that they have right now. Like you said, Brad Lambert, he's supposed to go in probably the lottery. Another guy that to talk about is Joaquin Kemmel. He's a winger who is just a pure goal scorer. The guy can shoot. I heard Rachel Dory talk about him a little bit, how he's a threat to score from, I think it was Rachel Dory. I might be wrong now that I think about it. Still have to score over from like pretty much all over the ice, because he has some insane one-on-one skills where he can just kind of burn you. I don't know how it's going to translate to the NHL, but for this tournament and the time being, it's going to be a ton of fun. He has 18 points in 21 games for the JYP in the Liga, that being 12 goals in 21 games for a guy who's in his draft year. That's like really, really, really good. So he's a guy to look out for. Mario, you got anything to add on Finland?
I mean, Jared covered a lot about the players aspect of it. I like to take more of an approach with the team. The Finns are, like you mentioned, a very experienced squad, and they have this thing in their back pocket, very sharp, that can stab a lot of teams and really get a team moving. Russia 4-1 victory for bronze last year. This team knows how to upset, and they're usually a very talented team, so not much room for upsets. But if they ever have to get into that situation where they have to tackle the heavier teams, which, hey, Canada's right beside you in that division, you might have to tackle them at one point. They have the ability to do that. So I think from a team standpoint, this squad is very dangerous and can attack you from so many different angles. And I'm going to approach Brad Lambert just very briefly. He's got to find his footing. I know he's been struggling a little bit in his season back with his team, but this is a big opportunity for him to show NHL teams what he can bring. You mentioned he's going to be probably a lottery pick. Let's see what he can do. Let's see him reestablish that and make it known to the world that he is truly a lottery pick. Because we see a lot of players throughout history of this tournament either really rise to the occasion, boost their draft stock, or you can see it crumble to the ground at many times. Brad Lambert's going to be found in the middle right now. Let's see if he can soar or if he's going to go the other way around. So I don't know. He's a big guy. He's got a lot of talent there. And I think he has the potential to be the spark plug for this team to get everyone else going and maybe get another medal for this Finland team.
Yeah, I like that. I want to touch on Brad Lambert a little bit more, because I like how you say that, he could really pick it up. And another reason that I think he could really pick it up is because he's actually a returning player. You don't see this very often, where guys are in their draft years, but they're still returning to the World Juniors. Like, he could fully play another year next year if he doesn't make the NHL. So last season, as a double underager at the World Juniors, 4 points in 7 games. That's like a fantastic stat line for a guy who was literally a 15-year-old kid playing with almost grown men. So, Evan, do you have anything else to maybe say on Finland? I know we've kind of hit on everything.
I think the US is better than them.
I don't think he's biased at all, guys. No bias at all. None.
No, I'll be
kidding. No. I think that's completely fair to say. I'm giving you shit here.
I think
it's fair.
I don't think 1 in 5 is that far off.
No,
I really don't.
This
could be one of the most interesting placements of I'm so whoever gets to the goal, whoever gets to the medal games should already be very proud of themselves, because if you're one of the top 4 teams at this tournament, it speaks volume, especially of how your country develops. So look, I think Finland, they're always a powerhouse, and to Mario's point, I did not see them upsetting Russia last year. That shocked me that they took down Russia in such a comfortable fashion too. 4-1 is very comfortable. And Brad Lambert, obviously Shane Wright can be viewed as a consensus number 1. I would say that the one issue I have is that, remember how Capo Caco and Jack Hughes, it's very I'm getting that same vibe, but then Capo Caco thrived at the World Championships, and Jack Hughes kind of took a back seat. I think that's going to happen again with Shane Wright and Brad Lambert, but I still think they're going to view Shane Wright, because Brad Lambert has more of an opportunity to thrive on Finland than Shane Wright does with Canada. And I think that's why Jack Hughes was also taken ahead of Capo Caco still, because Jack Hughes was on such a powerhouse team as well, where it was hard for him to kind of make a name for himself, but he was still finding ways to contribute. So I think if Brad Lambert just plays his style, I know he's been struggling, but I still don't think it would be enough to get him at number one.
Yeah, I like that comparison too, because Shane Wright is apparently he's penciled in as the number one center for Canada, which I don't know how long that's going to last as an
Not
underrated
with
at the
like
tournament.
Mason McTavish and
Yeah,
them
Mason
boys.
McTavish is there. I know Kent Johnson slid over to the wing. Perfetti slid over to the wing, but we're not talking about Canada yet.
Yeah.
We're gonna maybe continue talking about Finland a little bit. I like that comparison that you made. If we just want to quickly brief over a couple other players that they got, Casper Simontoval, like you said, guy to watch out for. We already said Ronnie Rovinen. Emil Viro, he's a draft pick to the Detroit Red Wings. Smooth skater, left-handed, probably going to be Niemela's D partner. So that's a guy to watch out for, maybe to rack up the points playing with Niemela. They came third last year, so this team can do it with a bunch of returning players. We know that. Can they do it again is the big question. So